There's something about her that most people don't know. Something I've kept close. Not because it's a secret, but because it's sacred. This is the untold story of my future wife. And you need to know it. Because when people see her, they see beauty. They see grace. They see that soft smile, the kind that makes you feel warm even if you've had a cold day. But what they don't see is the journey behind that smile. They don't know the quiet pain she survived. The nights she cried alone yet still showed up in the morning, like nothing was broken. The trust she gave that was once thrown back at her, and still she didn't let it harden her heart. Before I knew her, she had already lived through storms that would have made most people build walls. But she didn't. She stayed open. She stayed kind. And that's not weakness. That's strength. She is the type of woman who loves deeply. Not because life was always gentle with her, but because she chose not to become bitter. And I need you to know that before I ever thought about marrying her, I respected her. Not for what she has, not for how she looks, but for the quiet battles she fought without asking for attention. She didn't need saving, she just needed to be seen. And I did. Most people don't realize it, but the way she loves, the way she shows up, listens, stays, it's not by accident. It's because she knows what it feels like to be the one nobody stayed for. She knows the silence after promises are broken. She knows the weight of waiting for someone who never comes back. And instead of letting that turn her cold, she let it make her softer. She pours love into people carefully, not because she has endless energy, but because she remembers how much it hurts to feel forgotten. When she hugs you, she holds you a second longer, because she knows some people don't get hugged enough. When she says, "I'm proud of you," she means it, because she knows what it's like to move mountains and still feel unseen. Her love isn't loud. It doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't put on a show. It just exists, patient and real, waiting for you to feel it. And the truth is, it took me a while to understand it. At first, I thought love had to be loud, grand gestures, big words, fireworks. But she showed me that real love is often quiet. It's in the way she notices when you're tired. It's in the way she asks how your heart is, not just your day. It's in the way she stays, especially when staying is hard. This is the woman I get to call my future wife, not because life gave her an easy path, but because she chose love, even after walking through fire. Before her, I didn't know how much I still had to grow. I thought I was already the kind of man someone could build a life with, steady, responsible, focused. But loving her, being loved by her, it changed me in ways I didn't expect. She didn't ask me to change. She didn't push. She just made me feel safe enough to see the parts of me I hadn't noticed before. The impatience I carried, the way I held back when I should have leaned in, the way I sometimes spoke without really listening, not out of pride, just out of old habits. But her love made me want to do better, not for her, with her, because she wasn't trying to fix me. She just believed in who I could become, and that quiet belief that changes everything. It made me slower to anger, quicker to apologize, more thoughtful in the way I move through the world. Because when someone sees the best in you, you want to rise to meet that image, not out of pressure, but out of love. She taught me to pause before I speak, to check in not just when something's wrong, but when things are fine, because sometimes that's when we need love the most. She showed me what it looks like to choose peace over pride, honesty over ego, gentleness over control. And that's when I realized she's not just my future wife, she's the mirror that helped me see myself clearly for the first time. When I think about the life I want with her, it's not about big houses or luxury or showing the world how perfect we look together. It's about peace. It's about waking up and knowing she's next to me, even if we don't say a word for the first hour. It's about cooking simple meals together, burning the toast sometimes, laughing through the mess. It's about small joys, like her sitting on the couch in my hoodie, us folding laundry, while music plays softly in the background. It's the kind of life where home isn't a place, it's a person. She's the home. And I want a life where we grow old without losing the way we look at each other. Even when life gets busy, even when the hard days come, I want to be the man who still reaches for her hand in a crowded room. I want to build a space where she never has to question her place, where she can cry without shame, laugh without limits, and love without holding back. A space where the world's opinions don't matter, only the truth between us. I don't want perfect. I want real mornings, real talks, real love that stays when the spark turns into warmth, when the newness becomes comfort, when everything slows down, because I don't need fireworks. I just need her. Before her, I used to think commitment was about rules, about duty, about giving up freedom. But she changed that for me, without even trying. She didn't lecture me about loyalty. She just lived it. Every time she showed up, every time she stayed patient when I got quiet, every time she chose understanding over judgment. She taught me that real commitment isn't about losing yourself. It's about choosing someone again and again, even when it's not exciting, even when it's not easy, even when the world tries to pull you away. It's not about promises made in big moments. It's about the small ones. The way she listens when I don't have the words. The way she lets me be quiet without taking it personal. The way she never uses my past against me, even when it shows up in the way I react. That kind of commitment, it's not fear, it's freedom. Because now I see, when you love someone like this, you don't feel trapped. You don't feel like you're giving something up. You feel like you're building something better. And I want to commit to her that way. Not because I have to, but because every part of me wants to show up, to stay, to grow, to love without conditions. So no, she's not just a chapter in my story. She is the story. The idea of marrying her was never about the ceremony. It was never about rings or outfits or how many people would be watching. It was about us, about the life we'd wake up to after all the noise faded, about the kind of quiet we'd build, where love doesn't have to prove itself. It just exists, steady and real. Because to me, marriage isn't a finish line. It's not the prize at the end of a love story. It's the beginning of one. It's learning how to love her through every version of herself, even the one she's still growing into. It's letting her learn me too, with all my moods, my soft spots, my silent days. It's about choosing each other daily, even when it's messy, even when we disagree, even when life feels too heavy. I imagine a life where we don't need constant words to feel connected, where sitting in silence on the same couch feels like peace, where coming home doesn't mean walking into a house. It means walking into each other's arms and exhaling like, finally, I'm safe again. I don't want a perfect marriage. I want a true one. One where we laugh more than we cry. But even when we do cry, we hold each other through it. One where we grow together, not apart. Even if we grow at different speeds. Even if we take turns carrying the weight. That's what I see when I think of calling her my wife. Not a moment. A life. It's always the small things. The stuff no one else sees. The moments that don't get posted, don't get talked about. But somehow they stay with me longer than anything else. Like the way she remembers how I take my coffee, even when I forget to say it. or how she sends a message when I'm quiet for too long, just to check in, not to ask for anything, just to say, I'm here if you need me. The way she gently corrects me without ever making me feel small. The way she laughs at my dry jokes, not because they're always funny, but because she loves the way I try. It's how she touches my shoulder when she walks by, just a second, but it makes me feel held without a hug. It's how she pays attention to the things I don't even realize I'm saying, and somehow turns them into kindness later. Like when I once mentioned, I missed the smell of rain back home, and a week later, she lit a candle that smelled just like it, didn't say a word, just smiled and let it fill the room. Those things, they don't make noise. They don't come with announcements, but they've built a whole love in my chest that I never expected. Because it's not about big moments. It's not about chasing highs. It's about the way she chooses me in small ways, every day. And it's those moments that remind me I'm not just marrying a good woman. I'm building a future with someone who knows how to love in the places no one else ever noticed. Here's what I know now. Real love isn't loud. It doesn't come crashing in. It doesn't demand attention or applause. It settles in slowly, quietly, but deeply. And with her, I found that kind of love. So, if I could stand in front of her today, not in a room full of people, not in a ceremony, but just face to face, I'd tell her this. I don't promise to be perfect. There will be days when I'm tired, days when I mess up, days when I don't say all the right things. But I do promise to be present, to show up, even when it's uncomfortable, even when life stretches us thin. I promise to listen, not just to your voice, but to your heart, to the parts you don't always have the words for. I promise to hold space for your soft moments, your strong moments, and even your uncertain ones. I promise to build a life with you that isn't always flashy, but always real. A life where love doesn't fade with time. It deepens. In whispered, you're not alone when the world feels too heavy. I promise to never stop choosing you. Not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. Because you are the woman who reminded me that the most beautiful kind of love is the one that doesn't have to ask for attention. It simply stays. It simply is. And that's the story of my future wife. Not the kind everyone knows, but the kind that lives in every little moment. Soft, strong, and lasting.